What if I told you that the biggest obstacle in your life is not the lack of opportunities, but the problem is that you want to believe that somebody has to come and choose you first? Unfortunately, we live in a world where we are obsessed with the waiting room. From the time that you grow old and you start to develop your thinking skills, you are told to wait. You are asked to get the permission from students. When you are a student, you are told to wait till you get your degree. And then once you get your degree, and then you are said that, okay, now for your graduation, you wait to get a good job. And then when you get a good job, now becoming an employee, you are told to wait for promotion. So waiting, and you're still waiting and you're losing out opportunities. Leadership, my dear friends, is not waiting for opportunities, but to develop opportunities and to work on your potential. The crossroads of tomorrow says that real leadership is the person whom you choose to become. You're not going to wait for the people to tell you what you deserve. Acharya Chanakya, who was an ancient kingmaker, always said that if you want to be a great leader, you have to first conquer yourself before you conquer the world, because it is not about the kingdom, it is about yourself. Unfortunately, we are trained to only value what we see: the lights, the awards, the big speeches, and the claps of the audience. But we fail to see that the work that you do in private is the character you built. When you build an authority, people respect you. But when you build an influence, it is a long-lasting legacy. The crossroads of tomorrow mention that the choice you make today will have the ripple effects tomorrow. Think of it like an echo. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a canyon and you shout. You hear the echo back, loud and impressive. But do you think that was the source of the echo? No. The source was your sound, which you made in silence. Actual leadership, real leadership, is what you do in private, not what you do in public. Maybe you get the spotlight and you shine over here, but what you do in private is what you perform in public. My dear friends, thinking from the echo, start today. Develop your character, develop integrity. Don't wait for people to give you permission, because that's never going to happen. Let me share a small story with you. So, a few years ago, when I started my corporate career and I was in an organization, I saw there is a lot of gap. When you are a leadership coach, you're supposed to identify gaps and you're supposed to fill in the gaps with your wisdom and your presence of mind. None of them were happy in the organization. The company was making profits, but the corporate culture was toxic. The leaders were sitting in the cabin doing nothing and probably making the vision of the company, but not realizing that everybody working in that organization is probably unhappy. Someday, sometimes, we just want somebody to hear us out. Sometimes we just want small appreciation. Sometimes we just want that small acknowledgement that our work gets noticed, our hard work gets the acknowledgement it deserves. There was this one lady who decided that even though I'm not authorized to be a leader, I will do something. Every Friday, she decided that she will observe the small hard work that every employee is doing, maybe overtime, maybe some extra efforts, but she will ensure that she will go to that person and acknowledge and say, I saw what you did, and that really matters. 3 months in a row, this habit was formed, and what happened was amazed. It was a surprising element that it became a happy culture. People now started complaining less and started noticing good things in each other. And then the company grew massive. Now, the leaders there thought that probably it's the structure and the systems that made the company grow massive. But what they failed to realize, and the missing element was, it is not the systems and the structure, but the happy culture. My dear friends, leadership is not about the culture or the control. It's about how you value each other. It is not the title that you hold, but the title you hold in other people's hearts. It's how people choose to remember you when you're not in that room. Let me give you one more example. Take an example of a sun and a moon. The sun has power and the moon has influence. Sun probably gets the attention because of the intensity. The moon quietly shifts the ocean and it pulls it. Leadership is not about being the sun, but sometimes becoming the moon. Every action of yours has a ripple effect. Let me tell you how. If you see a boss, the boss probably will force somebody because of the title that they hold. But a leader will not force people, they will inspire people because of his or her character. Forceful leadership will not be long lasting. But sometimes when the flow is there and when you inspire people by your character, the flow is natural and it builds a long lasting legacy. My dear friends, leadership is a myth when people say that you have to wait for permission, when people say that only you can do good work when you are assigned a particular role. Real leaders don't wait for permission. They identify the gap. They identify what is that something that I can take up even if I'm not assigned a particular role. Imagine that when you are given a role, you will do that task. But if you are not given a role and you do something on your own, it shows self-leadership. This world actually needs more leaders. We don't need few people at higher places. We need millions of people raising their standard wherever they go. My dear friends, let's do a small assignment from tomorrow, which I call the 24-hour revolution. Identify each revolution in your own scale. Be it hospitals, be it schools, be it colleges, be it home, everywhere there is some kind of gap. Don't wait for that gap. You can build a bridge. You can fix that gap. And what you can do is identify that gap, take your unassigned role, and whatever you're good at, just go and fix that. Example, if there is a gap, go and fix it. If there is darkness in the room, go and light a lamp. If you see that the table is small and there is no seating available, go and extend the table. Small things, my dear friends. But it has a ripple effect. A lot of times when we wait for people to give us permission, we lose out on becoming an extraordinary leader. Leadership has multiple definitions, but a real leader inspires other people to become better leaders. My dear friends, remember, there are gaps everywhere around you. You don't have to be waiting for somebody to come and tell you. A lot of times people, think, it is not my job. Let somebody else come and do this. Why can't you? Remember, every room has at least 2 chairs. That one chair is the person you are today, and the second chair is the person you could become tomorrow. So when there are opportunities coming up, it is not about who will take the responsibility, because that empty chair, your future itself is going to ask you, why can't you take this up? And like I said at the start of my talk, a lot of times we lose out on leadership opportunities is because we are waiting for somebody to hand over it to us. It is not about waiting. It is not about giving the permission. Remember, after some years, nobody is going to remember the designation you held, or how fancy your office was, or how fancy your corporate structuring was, or your reporting structuring was. But what will they remember is how you made them feel. Did you find courage in fear? When there was a lot of fear, did you have the courage to stand up? Did you give your team the hope during uncertainty? Did you take up action instead of being hesitant? Did you take up that leadership role even though you were not assigned to be a leader? People remember your actions, my dear friends. And a person never forgets how you make them feel. So remember, in future, even if you are not assigned any kind of a role, you are still a leader. This generation does not need those fancy titles on the business cards or for your social media profiles, but it needs real character. Maybe the spotlight will help you shine and give you a lot of awards, but people will remember you for generations when they work with you, when they will look at you and they will get inspired that we don't have to wait for any kind of permission, but we have to seek the character to develop opportunities and ensure that leaders create a lot of leaders. I would want to conclude my talk with 2 major points. Remember the sun and moon example. You might have power, you might have influence, but remember, authority can be given, But influence does not need a rank. Influence is earned, like how trust is earned. And my dear friends, the moment you start influencing people, you will be amazed with the kind of opportunities you will be attracting in your life, and you will always be a lifelong learner. It's easy to say that we all want to be role models in somebody's life, but it is not easy to become one unless we develop our character. Like I said, we are all obsessed with the waiting room. Let's not wait for opportunities. Let's create opportunities. And my dear friends, you never know. Maybe you are all very, very talented, but you've not yet realized that. Maybe you have the hidden leader in you. Maybe you have that potential in you. Maybe you have that courage in you, that self-confidence in you to develop something extraordinary and become the role model for the entire world. So my dear friends, let's not wait, because today the waiting door is closed. The opportunities are massive in front of you. The world is waiting to see your amplifying talent and potential. And remember, if you are a sun, your friends can be the moon, and everybody has ample opportunities in the world. But sometimes we lack courage. Sometimes we lack the self-belief. Sometimes we just want somebody to come and tell us that, yes, you can do this. But the moment they come and tell us, it's already too late. There's a quote which says, even a right decision becomes wrong when taken at the wrong time. So time waits for no one. It's the right time to get up, to develop yourself, to think about your massive potential and be the role model the world seeks. Wishing you all the best. Remember, your waiting period is over. The world is waiting for the hidden leader in you.